The archaeological team discovered a backfilled void beneath it.
Let's see what we can find.
A void where the team has recently inserted a snake camera and obtained images of a possible iron stake and what could be valuables.
Lot 8 was never thought to be a treasure site until the team pushed a snake camera beneath a massive boulder and saw something no one could explain. A perfect void, a possible iron stake, and a round white object gleaming in the dark. Something that looked exactly like a pearl. But the real shock came from the ground itself. A boulder held in place by a ring of evenly spaced stones, sitting over disturbed soil that shouldn't exist unless someone put it there. Suddenly, Lot 8 isn't background scenery anymore. It's a blueprint, a hidden structure, and possibly the entrance to something that's been sealed shut for centuries. This spot might finally reveal what the rest of the island has been hiding. Secrets, under stones. Lot 8 has always been a place of mystery, but things just got a whole lot weirder. The team has been focusing on a massive boulder that stands out from everything else in the area. This isn't just some rock that a glacier left behind thousands of years ago. When you look closely, you can see that it's surrounded by smaller stones. These smaller stones are spaced out evenly, almost like they are holding the big boulder in place.
I don't know what to make of it, other than it certainly implies that there was some sort of activity underneath the boulder by humans.
It looks like a man-made feature, and that has everyone on the team very excited. Alex Lagina and Peter Fornetti brought out Dr. Ian Spooner to take a look at what they found. They had already moved some rocks, but they didn't want to dig too deep until the expert arrived. See, they found disturbed soil underneath the boulder, which is a huge clue. If the soil was moved, it means someone was there before them. The team thinks this could be a part of a much bigger story that goes back hundreds of years. The narrator points out that the stones around the boulder are holding it in place perfectly. This is a key detail because it shows intent. Before we go further, if you love deep dive breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed to Bravo Tango. It's the only channel that tracks every clue, every crack in the ground, and every discovery the moment it happens. Now, back to the show. While they were looking, they found a void, a big hole, under the rock. They used a snake camera to see what was inside that dark space. What they saw was enough to make anyone's jaw drop. There was a possible iron stake and something that looked like a shiny pearl. Rick Lagina was stunned and said it really looked like a pearl was sitting right there. This is not the kind of stuff you usually find under a random rock in the woods. The team wants to know how old this thing is. They need to find a way to date the soil or the feature itself. Dr. Spooner thinks getting a soil sample is the best way to start. That soil can tell them if there is metal nearby. It can also give them a timeline of when the rock was moved. Everyone is on the same page and ready to get to work. Dr. Spooner used a tool to grab a core of the soil from under the rock. He said they have hints of people being on the island even before the year 1600. This boulder might be a part of that ancient occupation. He wants to check for metals like gold, silver, lead, and zinc.
If we could find elevated metals of interest, and that's gold, silver, lead, zinc, copper, tin, that might give us a clue as to why it's there, what's happened there.
Look how loose that is.
Yeah.
If they find those, it might explain why the rock is there. The soil they pulled up was very loose, which is strange for something that should be packed tight. Dr. Spooner took the samples back to his lab to get a better look. He was most interested in the very end of the soil core, because that is where the oldest secrets are hidden. Something even crazier was waiting for them in the lab results. Hidden human activity. 2 days went by before the team met up again in the war room. Rick, Marty Lagina, and the others were waiting for Dr. Spooner to give them the news. They were hoping for a sign that they should keep digging. Dr. Spooner didn't disappoint them at all. He explained that he analyzed the sediment from under the boulder very carefully. He was looking for a human signature, which is just evidence that people were doing work there. And get this, he found very high levels of lead. This was very odd because normal soil on the island has about 12 parts per million of lead, but the sample from under the boulder had as much as 140 parts per million. That's a massive difference. He explained that lead like that usually comes from burning coal or wood. It moves through the ash and gets into the ground. What most people don't realize is that fire was used a long time ago to help breathe in underground mines. Workers would start a fire at the bottom of a shaft to pull fresh air down into the tunnels. This was a technique used as far back as ancient Greece. If there was a fire under that boulder, it means it might have been an air shaft for a secret tunnel. Dr. Spooner even tested the soil nearby to see if the lead was everywhere. It wasn't. The high lead was only under that one specific boulder. This makes it a local phenomenon, and that is a huge deal. It strongly implies that humans were active right under that rock. Rick Lagina thought about it and realized this covers all the bases. It explains the lead and suggests a tunnel might lead to the money pit. Marty Lagina was done with the talk and wanted action. He said it was time to see what was under that rock and that he wanted to pick the whole thing up. He wasn't being subtle about it at all. He told the team to stop sitting on their hands and get out there to do something. The excitement in the room was through the roof. They knew they were onto something big, and the science was backing them up. If that boulder was truly an air shaft, it could lead them straight to the treasure they have been hunting for years. They just needed to get the archaeologists to agree to move it safely. It's not every day you find a smoking gun like a lead signature in the dirt. The camera was about to show them something even more valuable. Golden luster sighting. Later that afternoon, Marty Lagina and the crew met with the archaeologists at the site. Laird Niven and his team had been doing a lot of work to clear the area around the boulder. They had exposed a lot of the ground, and it was time to put the camera back under the rock. Fiona, one of the archaeologists, had cleared out a space that gave them better access to the back of the boulder. She moved the camera in about 2 feet underneath the heavy stone. She told the team they really needed to see what she was seeing. Marty took the screen and couldn't believe it. He said it looked like a cave under there, but he couldn't tell how big it was. The crazy part is that there wasn't just one hole. It looked like a matrix of voids, which means a whole bunch of empty spaces connected together. This is consistent with something very significant being built under the ground. Rick Lagina believes that people went to a lot of work to hide something valuable here. They didn't just throw a rock down. They protected it. He thinks this discovery will change how they understand the whole island. But then, the camera saw something that changed everything. Fiona pointed out some lumps that looked like rock, but had golden yellow veins in them. Marty Lagina was shocked and said if he didn't know better, he would swear it was gold. It had the right luster and shine. Even the other team members agreed it looked just like gold. They wondered if it could be subsoil, but you usually have to dig to find that. This stuff was just sitting there, in the void. Laird Niven was also confused because soil usually looks less defined than these shiny veins. Marty said that if there is gold under that boulder, it might be the most substantial thing to ever happen on the island. It could be a clue to where the main treasure is hidden. They started to wonder why someone would put gold under a boulder. Maybe it was a marker that they intended to come back for, but never did. Jack Woods suggested that there might be an artifact nearby that could give them a date or tell them who put it there. The team was now more determined than ever to move the rock. They had seen enough to know that they couldn't leave it where it was. The decision to lift the boulder was finally made. Big rock move. The brushes and dental picks are finally going back in the toolbox. On Lot 8, the phase of delicate scraping has hit a wall, and for the first time in weeks, the archaeologists are waving the white flag. Laird Niven, a man who usually treats every pebble like a holy relic, finally admitted that they've squeezed every drop of data out of the surface. It's time to stop poking at the dirt and start moving some serious weight. For Marty Lagina, this wasn't just a status update. It was the green light he'd been white-knuckling for since the first glimmer of gold luster showed up on a subterranean camera. You could practically hear the gears turning in his head as the conversation shifted from preservation to heavy logistics. This is where Marty thrives, bringing in the big iron, the high-tonnage cranes, and the kind of engineering that actually gets results. The island is currently vibrating with a different kind of energy. Moving this boulder has officially become the main event, second only to the ongoing chaos at the money pit. The crew isn't just looking for a shiny object anymore. They're hunting for a smoking gun. The tension is through the roof because, for the first time in years, Lot 8 feels like it's holding the winning hand. For decades, this patch of land was just a quiet, overgrown mystery, but the data coming back now is anything but quiet. We're talking about lead levels that don't make any geological sense. In the world of high-stakes treasure hunting, lead isn't just a contaminant, it's a signature. One of the wilder theories gaining traction among the team is that this boulder isn't just a random rock, it's a capstone for a sophisticated alchemical vault. If you look at the medieval lead cross found earlier on the island, the chemistry matches mines in Europe that haven't been active for centuries. Some researchers are starting to suspect that the lead detected under this stone was used as a crude but effective sealant, a way to waterproof a shaft or a chamber containing artifacts that couldn't handle the salty Atlantic seepage. We might be looking at a secondary treasury, a high-security safety deposit box, designed to protect the most sensitive items, while the money pit acted as a high-profile, booby-trapped decoy. If the money pit was designed to break a searcher's spirit and wallet, Lot 8 might have been designed to simply disappear into the landscape. The logistics of the lift are a nightmare, but the potential payoff is a game changer. There's a theory that this specific location sits directly over a pressure release valve for the island's notorious flood tunnel system. If the stone is sitting on a vertical vent, lifting it wouldn't just reveal a tunnel, it could potentially unplug the drainage system that has kept the treasure out of reach since 1795. The energy on the lot is electric, because everyone knows they are standing on the edge of a paradigm shift. This isn't just about gold bullion, it's about rewriting the history books. If they find a void or a structured shaft under that granite, it proves the island was a massive, coordinated engineering project by a group with resources that far exceed anything we've been told about pre-colonial North America. Marty and Rick have put everything on the line for this moment. As the heavy equipment rumbles into place, you can feel the weight of history hanging over the site like a fog. The island has guarded these secrets with a vengeance for over 2 centuries, but the Laginas are done playing games. They aren't going to let a 5-ton rock stand in the way of the truth. This is the moment of peak anticipation, where the what-ifs turn into there it is. Whether it's a Templar vault, a pirate cache, or a strategic military archive, the answer is just one heavy lift away. The silence of Lot 8 is about to be shattered, and for the brothers, the long wait for a real breakthrough is finally, mercifully, over. Oak Island always has a way of making us wait, but Lot 8 feels different this time. Do you think that shiny object is actually a pearl, or just a trick of the light? Is there really gold under that rock? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you want to stay ahead of every breakthrough and every twist in the mystery, make sure you're subscribed to Bravo Tango. We're here for every discovery, no matter where the trail leads next.